Welcome to Smart Brown Voices, your weekly podcast featuring diverse voices from around the world, giving you insights on how others made it big in their respective fields. Now sit back, grab a notebook, and get ready to be inspired. And don't forget to use hashtag #SmartBrownVoices to share insights, moments of wisdom, and things from the show that inspire you. And now, here's your host, social media nerd and technology activist, Mr. Mike Street.
Happy 2016 to all of our Smart Brown Voices listeners. We are back. It is time to kick off a new season of podcasting and learning and education and all the fun stuff that we do on Smart Brown Voices. Can you believe that we are we are almost up to 100 episodes of this podcast? It's going to be coming up probably within the next couple of months, so stay tuned. I'm trying to get a special guest on. My dream guest was Serena Williams. I'm not going to be sure if that's going to happen, but just stay tuned. We're trying to get some good people on for the 90s to 100 stretch of podcasts. And that's our producer, the cat in the background, who always wants to be on the podcast when I'm recording. So today we have Acyee Brown, and she is the founder, CEO of a really awesome company. And I was checking out her website, and she has a beautiful website, a beautiful Instagram page. And she's going to come on and tell us today about, creating an online business, because I know a lot of you out there have been researching of like, how do you get products out into the marketplace, and how do you start to build an independent brand and use that to really kind of grow everything that you're doing. So Acyee Brown, welcome to Smart Brown Voices.
Thank you for having me, Mike. I feel so honored to be on your show. I love the podcast and everything that you guys do. So thank you.
So tell us a little bit about Goodnight Darling Company. And like I was saying before, like I love all the imagery that you have. Like I'm obsessed with like baths and sleeping. So you kind of hit a lot of sweet spots for me. And I'm a person who suffers from like, I can never get like a really good sleep because, I've got like my computer on and I'm tweeting and I'm doing a whole bunch of other stuff. And so like I just got this Fitbit. And so now I only sleep like 4 hours a day.
Mm-hmm. Well, 4 hours is not bad. My ideology is, quality over quantity. I try to tell everyone, who is an entrepreneur that how I got started, Goodnight Darling Co. It's sort of a love child in a way, out of a personal need. I suffer from insomnia. I've been suffering from insomnia since I was about 14 years old. And at one point in my life, I was addicted to over-the-counter and prescription sleep medications because my insomnia was very bad and I couldn't sleep without any aids at all. So my mom had a little intervention with me and said, "You're going to mess up your liver. You need to get this together." When I was in my mid-20s, and I started researching different sleep alternatives, different herbal remedies, different things to assist me with breaking that habit of going straight to the over-the-counter or prescription drugs to sleep. So it was a long process, taking classes, buying books and reading and trying out different formulas. And then I finally figured out just different things to work for me. And I consider myself a sleep expert, or, just because I've studied so much just for myself. And at the time, after I developed different products and stuff for me to use and different ideologies for me to use and figure out how to sleep, I was just like, oh, maybe there should be a company that focuses on sleep that's, not, your mom or your grandma's sleep remedies or anything like that. And I actually left the idea alone for about 7 years. And I didn't do anything with it. And last year, I was going through some just personal stuff again, and I started getting back into my sleep patterns of being up to 3 o'clock in the morning, not being able to sleep. And I said, maybe let's see if there's anything on the market like what I want to do. And there still wasn't. So I was like, okay, that's a sign from the universe. Maybe it's time to get it going. And I went ahead and just found all my recipes that I created and just started from scratch and just started building the brand. And here I am.
So walk us through the process of going from, you see, you walked away from the concept from for a stretch of 7 years, and then you kind of launched and, created all your recipes, and you have a pretty extensive, list of products. But walk us through, after you got your recipes up and running, how did you come up with like the brand name and the packaging and everything else to actually bring it, to market?
I'm sorry.
I was saying, so walk us through how you brought everything, the packaging and really took it from, concept to actually launching the full brand where people can actually purchase and order.
Well, that was a really actually tough decision. Because in the beginning, I was just going to actually have a store called Goodnight Darling that was going to be a collection of just of my favorite products. And the issue became wholesaling versus creating your own and having items on hand and that whole process of inventory and things of that nature. So I actually made the decision, okay, I have the recipes. The recipes that I have, I created them a long time ago. So that's been something that I tinkered and tampered with for a while. So I knew that they worked for me. So I said, well, it takes me a long time to sleep. And I'm like one of those people, not everything works for me. So I'm like, it's got to work for other people. So I gave some samples to people and they loved it. So I was like, okay, great. So it works. I know that part. And then it was about the beginning of what do I want to do, the packaging and the branding. I did everything that you see on my site as far as the branding, the imagery. I did all of that myself. Thank goodness for all of my many multiple jobs and backgrounds and other businesses that I've had. So it was easier for me to do the graphic design, to do the photography, because I've had a graphic business, I've had a photography business. So those things came a lot easier for me, and my aesthetic, I knew what I wanted to see. So from start to finish, the hump wasn't so difficult like for other people who have to hire out and contract. That little period was shorter. The hard part for me was the customer research, getting that, really figuring out who my customer was, and the packaging and labels. That process is a long time. So anytime you buy, I like to tell people, anytime you buy something, appreciate good design and good packaging, because it's really, there's so many options. And then you have to think about costs. Are you going to do paper bags? Are you going to do metal containers? Are you going to use glass? So everything that you put out into the world, from the idea to what the customer gets, there's so much involved when it comes to cost, weight, shipping, everything. And so I just had to pretty much give myself a timetable of, how I wanted to do it, ordering samples from companies to see about packaging, breaking down my cost, because making it for myself is easy because I don't worry about the cost. I just buy the ingredients, I make it, I use it, and that's that. But now I have to flip it and worry about, okay, how much is this amount that I'm selling going to cost me? How much ingredients do I need for this, for that? And mind you, I pretty much from start to finish, I launched everything in about 3 months.
Okay.
Just because if I don't do it, I'm not going to do it. So I'm one of those people, I can't let it, as you can see, I let the idea linger on for 7 years. So when I was like, okay, it came back to me, I got to go ahead and do it. So that process for other entrepreneurs can be slow. It can be, fast, as it was for me, but it is a process.
So you have everything from mugs to pajamas, tea. What's one of your most popular items on the site?
My most popular item on the site, I would say, would be the Fade to Black herbal tea and tincture combo. That has been not the best seller, but the most effective for people who really have sleep issues, who have insomnia, who are trying to wean themselves off of medication. My most popular blend of tea, though, is Sleeping Beauty. That's the best seller. Because when it comes to herbal remedies and herbal medications or anything like that, everybody's body chemistry is very different. And I like to tell people, if you are confused about what you should get the sample package, because you can try out everything. Because for some people, the Sleeping Beauty works magically and they fall asleep. They have great sleep. For me, the Sleeping Beauty only just makes me quiet and relax, like I'm on Xanax or something. That's all it does for me. But Fade Black that works for me. That puts me to sleep. And other people, I've had people who said, I didn't go to sleep, but the Sleeping Beauty works. So the Sleeping Beauty is a milder blend as far as like the ingredients, and the Fade to Black is stronger.
And I think, a lot of people have to kind of develop their own sleeping rituals. And I think that's why, I've often read, like, turn your computer off or put your phone away or make sure you have a dark room. And because a lot of people don't have a kind of a sleeping ritual where you're telling your body, I'm shutting down now. It's time to go to sleep. A lot of people are still, up doing stuff, and then they kind of just pass out. And I think that's kind of like the difference. And I see here that you have a lot of things where you help people kind of get into that ritual habit, like, taking a hot bath, before you go to sleep, or, drinking a soothing cup of tea, can help you, get into that process of telling your brain, it's time to shut down.
Exactly. And that I'm actually developing a guide that's going to be released soon about rituals and sleeping effectively, and just my different tools and techniques that I've used over the years to help me sleep. And I always like to use the hotel analogy when people ask me, what's one tip that you can give me about sleep and about how to make my space better. And I always use the hotel analogy. And I always say, have you ever noticed when you go to a hotel or on vacation, you sleep so much better? And the reason is because it's a clean slate. Like, there's nothing there of your personal items there. It's just a bed and a room and things that you're not familiar with. So your body's able to adapt easily and rest faster because you have no attachment there. So I'm not saying throw away everything in your room, but I like to tell people, try to declutter as much as possible. Things that stimulate your mind, or things that have you worry, or things that have your mind going, remove those from your room and try to make your room as much of a hotel experience as possible. So if it's,
that's a good idea.
If you keep like your work in there, you have like, books or bills, things like that, remove that from your room. Because I know everybody lives and you live in your house, but if you can remove those items that make your mind go and stimulate different things, let that go. I don't recommend TVs. I don't have a TV in my bedroom. I don't have an alarm clock. Well, I have an alarm clock. I try not to have my cell phone in my bedroom. If it's an emergency, the good Lord will wake me up. That's how I feel. If it's really an emergency. And trying to keep it cool, but I try to have a hotel experience as much as possible. So a really clean slate. And I recommend that to people to start there, and you will notice a huge, huge, huge difference. And also, I would say to go to bed 1 hour before you're actually tired. So when you actually get that tired signal in your body, that's actually a delayed signal. That's like the last straw that your body's giving you. Your body actually was tired or could have went to sleep anywhere between 45 minutes to up to 2 hours prior to you actually feeling like you're tired.
Awesome. And so tell me, how do you drive traffic to your e-commerce website? What are some of the tips that you could give our listeners on how to get your customers to the site?
There's so many ways. I would say, number one, you can't be everywhere, but you have to be, if that makes any sense. So Yes, I have a Pinterest. Yes, I have a Twitter. I have a Facebook. I have an Instagram. But at the stage that I'm at my business, I manage all of that. So I have to pick and choose where I would need to focus on. So my focus is on Instagram and Facebook.
Mhm.
And that's where I get most of my traffic from. Most lit from Instagram. So most of my traffic does come from Instagram. So that's a combination of word of mouth, of ads, of just doing different things, with hashtags and networking with other Instagrammers and joining different groups on Facebook that are business focused. And, there's so many ways that you can drive traffic. But I would say, unfortunately, still the highest traffic generators for most online businesses is Facebook. Facebook ads are really the key. If you can master that, like you could make millions of dollars pretty much
Yeah, definitely.
on any online platform. I mean, there's people selling, you know, brushes, and they're making, they're selling 100 brushes a day, but they have great engagement from their Facebook ad. So Facebook is probably the number one. I would say Instagram is number two. And then I would say number three would be any type of just, Pinterest is definitely, I would say Pinterest probably is up there in the top two. Pinterest is a good one, but for me, for my brand, it's pretty much Facebook and Instagram being number one.
Excellent. That's really good tips for us. And, definitely for all of our listeners out there, make sure that you really start to think about, what kind of a budget do you need in order to tap into some of these channels. Because they say social media is free, but it's not free. It takes your time. Yeah. It's like, it takes your time and effort to come up with the post and come up with the copy. And then also you need a budget to actually run Facebook ads, so start to think about what can you do on a per month basis, because it will definitely make a difference in your business, especially if you're selling a physical product like Acyee Brown and her amazing Goodnight Darling company, which definitely check out her site. She has some amazing stuff on here that we're going to order something today off of her site, because she has a lot of good stuff here. And I need to get more sleep. 4 hours isn't getting it anymore. So, Acyee Brown, thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing some of your insights on how you started the Goodnight Darling company. So, tell everyone how they can find you across the internet and how they can support you.
Well, you can go to www.goodnightdarling.co, and you can go to Goodnight Darling Co. on Instagram and on Facebook and sign up for our newsletter. We're going to be doing a lot of education this year on sleep and rituals and practicing better self-care, which is super important for this year.
Yes, definitely. And, it's definitely, if you're an entrepreneur out there and you're hustling and you may work a job and then you may go home and work on your side hustle, definitely make some time for that self-care, make some time to get some rest, because it's going to be super important, and you won't be a crazy grumpy person the next day.
Pretty much. Trying to kill everybody at work because you don't want to be there.
I mean, I'll tell you guys a quick story. It was like, there was, when I used to work in entertainment, I, would go some stretches where, I've been up for 48 hours. Just working on different projects and editing suites. And there was one time, I was so exhausted. I was literally sitting at my desk. I was trying to edit some video, and I just literally pass out at my desk. And,
Wow.
it was kind of like a blackout experience. And I was like, I'm exhausted. I need to go home and get some sleep, because I've just been on the grind working. And, after that experience, I really tried to make sure that I was getting proper rest. A glass of wine really helps me to get to that restful place as well. But, like I said before, develop rituals, look at companies like Goodnight Darling Co. and kind of pick out stuff that's going to help you get that rest. So if it's tea, or if it's a nice hot bath, or a really cool, mask, because you want your room really dark, so that you can get that rest. All of those things are really important for your brain. So check out Goodnight Darling company and support Acyee Brown and everything that she's doing. Any final words for our audience, Acyee?
Final words is just mostly, if you have a business and idea, do it. Now is the time. Do not let the internet pass you by. It's not going anywhere. You can't avoid it. And start your online business, but make sure you're taking care of yourself and you are getting a good quality sleep, and that you don't resort to over-the-counter or prescription drugs, because they will age you fast and they will mess up your body.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being on our show today and giving us all of these good insights and inspirations so that we can take care of ourselves in 2016, the year of Trump. Who knows what's going to happen? But, it's all good. We will survive. And having your own online business is definitely going to be a critical key for your financial success. All right, so that's it for this episode. Check back. I'm going to be knocking these out much faster this year, so stay tuned for a lot more episodes. Thank you guys for listening to the show. Before we left on our winter break, we passed the 30,000 download mark. So thanks everyone who's been listening to the show. And again, thanks iTunes for featuring us, because you guys really helped us find a new audience on the podcasting stratosphere in iTunes. So thanks everybody who's just been supporting the show. We got a lot more coming, so stay tuned. Peace.
Thanks for listening to Smart Brown Voices with your host, Mr. Mike Street. If you like what you just heard, we hope you'll leave a review on iTunes and tell your friends and colleagues. Be sure to check out our archive section on our website for previous podcasts, and make sure to follow us on social media. This has been a Mr. Mike Street production. Join us next time for another edition of Smart Brown Voices, and be inspired.